I'd like to discuss building India's entrepreneurship pipeline. This is a presentation that I have shared in a couple of different venues on my recent India trip, and I've had a lot of conversations with stakeholders in the ecosystem about strategies on how to develop the Indian ecosystem. So, what I'm going to present here today is for brainstorming with more people in the ecosystem as well as developing concrete programs. My observation about entrepreneurship is that it's a Darwinian numbers game and it has tremendous infant entrepreneur mortality. In the US, where we actually have statistical data and it's measured properly, 600,000 entrepreneurs or companies go out of business every year. The good news is 600,000 businesses start up every year as well. And as a result, there is both, death and birth happening at the same rate. 10% of the portfolio dies, 10% of the portfolio gets reborn. So there's a dynamic ecosystem that continues to thrive. The other important statistic we should take note of is 99% or over 99% of entrepreneurs who seek financing get rejected, and that is true even in Silicon Valley. Why? A variety of reasons: not enough validation, not enough market size, inadequate team, poor positioning, all sorts of reasons why entrepreneurs do not succeed in raising financing, and most businesses are not compatible with the venture capital financing model. That doesn't mean those are businesses that cannot be successful on their own without raising institutional capital. They can be successful in bootstrap mode, but nonetheless, over 99% of entrepreneurs who seek financing do get rejected. The good news, however, is Silicon Valley has a huge pipeline, and so does the US. 600,000 businesses are starting up every year, so even with 10% failure rate, enough companies are succeeding to continue to sustain a very vibrant ecosystem. So the question for India is, how do we get to a significant pipeline soon? Right now, India's entrepreneurship pipeline, and I'm talking about technology-enabled services primarily, that's the area where India is seeing the maximum uptick in entrepreneurship. The pipeline is still very small. We're probably talking about a couple of thousand entrepreneurs. I've even heard numbers from VCs and angels that there are probably only about 10 to 20 businesses that are actually venture financing worthy. And that is, those numbers are very, very small numbers. So the question is, how do we get there? And my answer to that question is we need to create a system of virtual plus physical incubation. And we need to democratize entrepreneurship education. Virtual incubation is a relatively new concept. 1 million by 1 million that I have founded is one of the few virtual incubators out there that operates on a global scale, and we've learned a lot in our short existence. We are a virtual incubator. We generally partner very successfully with physical incubators. We do not think of any of them as competitors. Our core focus is on scalable, effective mentoring. That's the gap that we identified in the ecosystem around which we've created most of our strategy. And our definition of mentoring is slightly different from one-on-one mentoring on a continuous basis. We have, over the last 3-4 years, we have been doing a lot of strategy roundtables, online strategy roundtables, where entrepreneurs come and discuss their strategy with us. And through that process, we have identified a very concrete set of questions and issues that entrepreneurs are facing, and we've built a curriculum that's based on those issues. So any topic on which an entrepreneur would normally seek mentoring, we have a full curriculum module on, including video lectures and case studies. So an entrepreneur trying to get his or her arm around a particular issue can do so by using our curriculum. In addition, we also do a substantial amount of similar strategy consulting in private and public roundtables. Our observation is mentoring networks do not work. A lot of organizations, alumni associations, entrepreneurship development organizations have tried to build mentoring networks, and most of them don't work. If you're interested in pursuing that topic, we have a separate video in our YouTube channel on why mentoring networks are not working. So that's, our focus has been on a scalable, effective, consistent, continuously available, on-demand mentoring system. And that's one of the core elements of 1 million by 1 million and our virtual incubation process. We use a Silicon Valley methodology. We are deeply entrenched in Silicon Valley. We are headquartered in Silicon Valley. I have you could say I've grown up in the entrepreneurship ecosystem of Silicon Valley, so I understand it inside out. And we do have very good connections into Silicon Valley, so we provide that insider network as well as the methodology as part of what we offer in our program. And by partnering with local physical incubators, we offer all local incubators instant and credible access to Silicon Valley. That is part of the value proposition of the partnership. So, in summary, we do very good methodology, curriculum, mentoring, strategy consulting. We also do business development, customer introductions, channel partner introductions. We do financing introductions where appropriate, media access, and so on and so forth. In general, we connect all possible dots for our entrepreneurs where we have relationships. And we augment the offerings of physical incubators around the world. We are perfectly capable of plugging ourselves into any physical incubators' activities and substantially enhancing the power of their offering. Our focus is entirely information technology. Information technology enables services, internet businesses, and that those break down into certain trends that we are seeing today. Web 3.0 and e-commerce is very big. We see a lot of cloud computing and business solutions. Outsourcing continues to be a major industry segment. Mobile and social apps is a big trend. Healthcare, IT, online education, gaming, these are all big trends in the industry. And we have specific curriculum material around each of those areas. Our thesis is by 2020, there are going to be 5 billion people on the internet. So there's an immense business building and wealth creation potential in that massive, adoption of information technology and the internet. Now, we do not support manufacturing, biotech, pharma, clean tech, semiconductors. These are all highly capital-intensive industries, and our methodology is a lean, capital-efficient, bootstrap startup methodology that does not support highly capital-intensive industries. Now, a point I want to make over and over again for all incubators, physical incubators that you want to work with us is 1 million by 1 million is a supplement, not competition. And our pricing is we offer free weekly strategy roundtables and we offer tremendous amount of content on our blog. But we also offer a premium program of $1,000 annual membership fee for unlimited usage on all the other material like the curriculum, like the business development, financing, and other services that I talked about. We do not take equity. This program is built for scalability. We do not believe we can keep track of equity stakes in millions of companies. And we work with very, very early stage companies that are not ready to be valued at all. So it's no point trying to take equity in companies that are pure concept stage, unvalidated businesses. So let's see how we can take this model of virtual incubation and physical incubation to build India's entrepreneurship pipeline to 100,000 entrepreneurs by 2020. I believe step 1 needs to be a virtual pre-incubation program where 100% of entrepreneurs get basic training and support. Whoever wants to be an entrepreneur can be an entrepreneur and can go through this virtual pre-incubation phase. It is inclusive, not exclusive. So if you look at 2012 to 2016, and if we start with 20 physical incubators in 2012, building up to 250 physical incubators all around India, by 2016, let's assume per incubator we do 100 virtual pre-incubations. And in 2016, we can expand that number to 400 of those pre-incubation entrepreneurs per incubator. That would develop a pipeline of 2,000 in 2012, building up to 100,000 by 2016. And the cost at $1,000 per year per member would be $2 million in 2012, going up to $100 million in 2016. Now, I have assumed $1,000 as the pre-incubation cost based on the pricing that we have in 1M, 1M. There may be other virtual incubators with other kinds of models, other pricing structures, whatever, but for the moment, just assume that we are working with this $1,000 annual membership fee model. Step 2, we need to identify the 4% most promising ones and offer them $25,000 in grants. So assuming that not all entrepreneurs will be fundable or deserving of financing. Some of them are going to be more bootstrap style entrepreneurs, but we are assuming that 4% can go through a little bit more advanced financing. So now if you add in a layer, a row, grants, 4% of the businesses get that funding at $25,000. We're looking at 80 businesses in 2012 getting $25K in funding, which will again add up to $2 million in the cost. And 4,000 in 2016 will get that kind of financing, which will again add up to $100 million in cost. So this, by introducing the next layer of phase 2, we also add another cost layer, which is the grant financing. Our assumption is 1% of the pipeline is going to get institutional financing, 89% will have to bootstrap to profitability, and 10% is going to fail. So if we assume that it would take them 4 years to get to $1 million in average sustainable revenue, the ones who succeed, and do not necessarily get financing, the ones that get financing will grow at a faster pace. The ones that do not get financing are bootstrapping into profitability. Let's assume a very conservative structure of 4 years to $1 million in average revenue and sustainability. So if you take a pipeline of 2,000 in 2012, 100,000 in 2016, and a 90% success rate, including the 89% bootstrapped entrepreneurs plus the 1% that are going to get financing, we are looking at 1,800 companies being successfully started in 2012, and by 2016, that pool is going to create a GDP impact of 1.8 billion. And in 2016, we are looking at a pool of 90,000 such entrepreneurs and a $90 billion of GDP impact in 2020. All right, hope you're with me so far. Next, we're going to look at the GDP versus cost. So based on the equation that I've presented so far, we're looking at a GDP impact of 1.8 billion in 2016 based on the 2012 investment. The investment that we've made in 2012 is 4 million, 2 million in virtual pre-incubation plus 2 million in grants. That's a 4 million investment that is turning into 1.8 billion in GDP by 2016. And if you follow that logic through, we are investing 200 million in 2016 that is turning into $90 billion in global GDP, in GDP impact, sorry, not global, in GDP impact by 2020. So that actually translates to an ROI of 450x in 4 years. And my observation is that India can afford a $300 million experiment. This is not a very expensive experiment from an aspiring superpower that is trying to build a massive impact on the world, economic impact on the world. A $300 million experiment is not that much. And from my discussions with various people who are involved in this, in the economic development world in India, it seems like there's a tremendous amount of money that the government of India is investing or making available for various kinds of skill development and economic development efforts. And 300 million out of that for a really significant and concrete development initiative, I don't think is too much. So once again, for the purpose of this strategy, 1 million by 1 million is considered as a supplement to all physical incubation efforts. We are interested in hearing from you. If you're involved in a physical incubation effort, we are very interested in hearing from you. Or if you're doing strategy within the government of India and would like to partner with us, we very much would like to hear from you. A couple of analogies that you may want to keep in mind. If you're a physical incubator, think of yourselves as a computer and think of 1M as a high-performance chip that you can plug into your computer, and your computer will perform at a significantly higher performance level. Or you can think of your physical incubator as a smartphone and 1 million by 1 million as an app that extracts certain levels of functionality from your smartphone that it is not capable of producing on its own. So I will leave you with the question, what do we need to do to get this going? We are very, very interested in hearing from you. We are interested in collaborating with you and partnering with you, and we will work with you to detail out exactly how we structure the partnerships, how we develop the pipeline in each of your individual geographies. We are perfectly aware of the depth and breadth of India. We believe that this kind of incubation effort, if it spreads into the heartland of India, will go a long way in building an inclusive development pipeline that includes, issues like rural BPO, rural development, electronic commerce using products that are being developed in rural India, as well as cutting edge software, applications companies and so on and so forth. So there's a huge amount of range that we can cover by using a scalable virtual incubation system that powers a lot of the physical incubation efforts. And we are very keen to hear from you very soon. Thank you very much.